Hey all, Dan Nikas here. Thanks for jumping on again. I just wanted to take this chance. I've just got back from a conference in Adelaide for Meta, where I was presenting as one of their global trainers. Now, when I was over there, I had really interesting conversations with the Meta team that was there about a new update. It's been out for probably 3 or 4 weeks now, maybe a fraction longer, depending on what part of the world you're in. But fundamentally, it's called Andromeda. And it's basically the update that's going to change everything about the way that you do ads. So fresh from them, I just got off the plane yesterday. I'm back home. As soon as I got in the office today, I've sat down to record this for you. You can see here, actually, me standing on stage. You can see I'm an actual real life person, not just someone who is sitting behind a computer, not just a YouTube guru. I'm here talking to real life people, which is amazing. Good to get out of town every now and then. So let's jump right in. So audience hacks are out, signals are in. So by signals, I mean creative signals. So Andromeda lets the platform match the message to the buyer. There's no guesswork. The system does the heavy lifting. So basically there's no more layering of interest, micro audiences, micro budgets, even lookalikes are probably on the outer now. No more people talking about ways to game the system for ultra laser targeting. It's basically, there's been a big shift, and the big shift has been coming for a little while, for the last couple of years in terms of their broad audience matching, but this is the first time we've really seen how that broad audience matching, the algorithms really working in the background. I'm really excited to take you through it. So why the old structure doesn't work? Basically, complexity doesn't equal control anymore. It's going to throttle scale. So whereas we used to do hundreds of campaigns and hundreds of ad sets with an individual ad in each years ago with micro budgets and testing, and we had all fancy names for it like shotgun and surfing and all sorts of stuff, that's all changing. We used to go targeting first as media buyers or as brands. Now it's going to be creative first, and the creative is going to do the targeting for you. If you're only doing UGC, there is some benefit to that, but it has a glass ceiling. And I'll show you why as we go through what they're looking for in Andromeda now. And feed variety is the key, not the volume of ad sets. And again, I'll explain it as we go deeper into it. So they've not only told us that they're using AI to read your images or videos and determine targeting based on that. They've even given us 8 specific types of creatives that they're going to recommend that you use, that the AI is going to lean on, because it's going to appeal to people at different stages of awareness and different stages of that consideration and buying journey that they're at. So the first is obviously UGC and testimonials. It gives us a lot of social proof. Clients of ours that we are doing these for, these are influencers or brand ambassadors that have produced content, and they're actually, providing a whole lot of trust. They're showing the products in use, and they're like the people that we're trying to sell to. So that's why these have always worked well. And I'm suggesting that they will still work well. There just has to be a certain point where you need to have this variety, because it's not going to cover off on everything that the algorithm or Andromeda is actually looking for. The next one is product features and benefits. So clarity around what's actually working. This is another one of our clients. You can see no more bloat, just better digestion. It's product benefit, product benefit, product benefit, product benefit, product benefit. So you might have seen this with others. There'd be like a product, and what they'll have is they'll have all of these arrows pointing at it, and it's all just product features, product benefits of it. So that is the next one of the creatives that they're recommending for us. The next is the us versus them. Again, another client of ours. We sell their sofas, and this is a competitor's sofa. We talk about what we can do, what they can't, in these different columns here. So it's the differentiation. So you might have seen them sometimes where they might have 3 ticks each, but ours, the one you're trying to advertise, might only, might have 3 extras that the others don't as well. And this is a great way for people to do those comparisons. And again, there's different signals for different components, different stages of awareness that people are at, or different considerations that people are making. And the AI is now picking up on that. And I'll tell you exactly what it's picking up for in the creatives as we go further into this as well. The next one is founder stories. Another brand that we work with. This is one of the founders. She talked about in this video the problem that she was having, that she couldn't solve the problem, and why she actually developed the brand or the product, which in turn became the brand, because it solved a problem that she couldn't find a solution for. So that is why this is really important. It builds a lot of trust. Founders are a lot of the time a lot like their ideal client. They've started the brand because of the fact that they cannot solve that problem or that want or need they have with what's out there currently. So they create it themselves. So a founder story works exceptionally well. The next is face to the camera explainers. This is great. We can have people that are experts, perceived experts, have a lot of trust. It could just be someone who's like your ideal customer avatar explaining how to use a product, your how-to videos, a little bit of education about the benefits of it, about what changes they might have seen in it. So slightly different to UGC, sometimes where that's more lifestyle based. These are facing the camera, explaining. The content of them is very, very important. Language that used is very important. I'll explain that after I go through these creatives that we have here. The next is carousels. So ranges and variants. This has always been a mainstay, but this is obviously going to put the right product in front of the right person. The algorithm's always done that. What I would encourage you to do is, especially with the advent of AI, stop just using stock or mock-up product images where it's just the actual product image as your hero image on your website, like on Shopify. I would encourage you to use AI to put it into a particular lifestyle scenario that's ideally targeting your potential customer or client. So for argument's sake, I wouldn't put one of the sofas or lounges that we have just on a white background. A white sofa on a white background is just very bland and boring. It doesn't really do much. Use AI to put it in, if you don't have the imagery or photography, put it into the lifestyle situation that you think it will fit best into. I'd encourage you to do that on your website, full stop, now that we have the technology available. But that in turn, it'll pull that hero image for your product catalog on Meta as well, which is fantastic. Next one is your stats and proof points, so your credibility. So are you a working mum with low energy? This is the one where, and a good example of this is we have a water filtration company that we market for. Their water filters do a lot, and there's a lot of science and studies behind it. So let's articulate that. So we remove all microplastics, we remove fluoride, we remove chlorine. We actually put back into the water vital trace elements and minerals and nutrients that your body actually needs. So the statistics that go with the proof in turn creates the trust and the credibility. And then on the website, make sure that you have any links to those studies or whatever it is, or that proof that you're leaning on. So again, another good creative. Before and afters, before anyone makes a comment about it, I know we can't do before and afters for weight loss or, personal attributes. What we can do though is we can show different fashion here. We can do before and after, let's say water quality, for example, what water looks like before it got filtered versus after. We can even do that like with a taste test, something along those lines. But before and afters work a lot. It could be lawn care. It could be like, look what this fertilizer does for the lawn. There's a really good company here called Lawn Hub in Australia that does a great job of that. So, that's what I mean by before and afters. I don't mean like weight loss or transformative surgery or something along those lines. That goes against the terms of service. I'm talking about before and after of using the product, the results that you can get. So the creative is now the targeting. So we've established that. We've got 8 different kinds of creatives that we can use, and I'd encourage you to use them all. So the old way is that we used to choose the audience and we tried to fit our creative to that, or our creative was very bland, very generic, and we thought the targeting was the best thing for it. And for a period of time it was, but as people have become more and more savvy, and the fact that they're being flooded with so many options online now, there's more discretion, there's more decision making. So we need to make sure that we've got creative that caters to any part of that consideration cycle or consideration phase that they're in. So the new way of doing it is the creative defines the audience, and different formats again speak to that different stages of awareness. So if we look at cold, warm and ready, or cold, warm and hot, cold is people come onto Meta or Instagram, Facebook, they're problem aware, but they're not solution aware, or they're not aware that you are a solution. So at that cold stage, one of the creatives can introduce your brand brand or product as a solution to satisfy or to solve a problem or satisfy a want or a need that they might have. Warm is, okay, they're now aware of you, but there's also other people that they're comparing you to, other brands, other products. We need to educate them. We need to give them the founder stories, the before versus afters, the product features, the proofs, the statistics, everything that I just went through. That is at that stage, they're warm, they're aware of you, but they're not quite there yet. We're trying to get them to the ready stages. Once we've got them through those different stages and the AI has determined what level of awareness they're at, it'll put the right ad in front of them, then they'll be ready to buy. So how is AI seeing what's in your ad? How is it interpreting what's in the ad? And this is really interesting. This is a great conversation that I had with the Meta team over in Adelaide. Now, a lot of these things we sort of knew already, and I'll go through them one by one, but other things I was quite surprised that this is what they're actually doing now. So when you're looking at the setting, that the image or the video is in. So there's going to be some income cues there. So it could be, instead, like I'll go back to the lounge or sofa, for example. The setting that lounge or sofa is in is going to be indicative of a certain income status. It's going to give them cues about the income level of the person who's going to be potentially buying the lounge or going to be the ideal customer. Person's the next one. Now, we do know that people have always been very important. That's why UGC works so well, is because more often than not, the person we're watching is very similar to us if we're being targeted by that ad. That works because it builds trust. We feel some commonalities and some familiarity with them, and we feel like we can relate to them. But it's giving demographic cues. So, we can look at different things along the lines of male, female, gender. We've got to look at diversity and things along those lines when we're looking at the person that is in the image or the video. Language. This is a big one that I hadn't really given a whole lot of consideration to. So we always would go through our hooks, our links, our body, our call to action. We'd go through those chunks of what would go into the videos that we were making or the copy that was going as the overlay on the image. But we didn't really give much thought to the tonality or the sophistication of the grammar or the way the wording was put together or the way the talking was put together. Were they using slang? Was there a bit of abrasiveness to it? That is going to help the algorithm or the AI determine the education level of the ideal customer. So this is very important as well. The problem that you identify in there is going to establish or help establish a life stage. A really good example of this is if you are advertising hearing aids, the problem is that you're hard of hearing or that your hearing's not great. That's going to be more targeted towards an older demographic. Conversely, if you're having problems with your newborn in terms of your newborn might not be sleeping, that is going to be that is a totally different life stage. That is going to be targeting people that are typically in that life stage. The huge one I'd never thought of before was the music in the background or the music that's playing in conjunction with the creative. That is going to set off a lot of cultural signals. So it can be everything from a location to a education level to what those people are actually interested in. Are they athletic? Are they into bougie hotels? Are they into the most trending, whatever it might be? But the music is going to be key that's playing on it. And the last one, again, never thought of this before and probably had subconsciously, but never really set scenes around it, is the colors of what people are wearing, the colors of what's in the background, the colors of the products. That's going to help determine the emotional state of the buyer as well. So these are all really key. The setting, the person, the language, the problem, the music, and the colors that are in there. These are all very, very key when it comes to the AI interpreting what it is what is the message and what is the ad about and who should it be targeting from there. So you're going to have to shift your mindset. I've had to. I've been in this now since 2011. I've had to shift my mindset massively about the way we do it. Retire the hacks, feed the system with good creative. The creative breadth is going to beat the targeting micromanagement, and the smart money is going to let the AI optimize. And that's going to mean that we're going to have more and more creative. And I don't just mean getting one video and changing the thumbnail 3 times and hope that might work. The content of the video is still going to be the same in each video. The AI is going to be targeting the same person. So we need more in there so we don't get creative fatigue. Does that mean you need to go and get a heap of videos shot? No. As you can see, a lot of the creative that we're talking about in there can be done using imagery, product imagery, putting it in settings. AI allows us to do so much now, so we might as well lean on it and use that. So your next 3 moves, here's your action plan. And I mean, we're doing this with all our brands, and we consistently do this with our brands. You need to audit it, and if you run one type of creative, then you're gonna hit a limit about how far you can scale it, because you're only sending one set of signals through to Andromeda, so that it's not going to be able to understand everything that's going on. You need to have other different signals to indicate who else you might be trying to target, or what different stages of awareness they might be at. Build all of those 8 creative types that I've taken you through. Rewind the video if you need to go back through it. Your structure is keep it simple, go broad, and let the budget find the winners. It's a very simplified ad system. The complexity is now not in the technical media buying of targeting and setting up convoluted ad systems. It's around the technical side of the creative, and not just, you don't just have to drive that creative. Media buyers aren't necessarily creative. We're not creators, but we can drive the direction and the brief for the creative based on this information that I'm sharing with you today. And look, if you do need help with any of it, please drop a comment below, or just know that at Adelaide Brands, we do actually build Andromeda-ready systems daily. So this is the only way that we build our systems now. There was a large element of this in it before this update came out, before this new system came out. Heavier and heavier into all the little nuances, even the colors in there, the music in the background, the tonality in the voice, everything that goes into it. It all has to be on point now. So my advice to you, build an ad account that Andromeda rewards, because the early adopters of this are going to be the ones that benefit from it. If you just ignore it and try to keep gaming the system the old way, you're going to get left behind. All right. Any other questions, drop a comment below, and I will talk to you all shortly.